Hey, what's up everybody? This is Funnylegz. Just wanted to make a video about my thoughts on the current Mortal Kombat scene, pretty much online and offline, and the community. I've been getting ready for my first major tournament this weekend, well actually tomorrow. The MLG Winter Championships in Columbus, Ohio. I pretty much took a break from Mortal Kombat for a couple weeks, and I actually found myself playing Street Fighter again for a little bit. But pretty much been playing pretty heavily on Mortal Kombat for the past, I'd say 6 days to get ready. I've changed a lot just in the last couple months, really. I've adapted a lot of new characters, and especially with my main Ermac, I got a lot of new tech that I'm going to try to be using at the tournament tomorrow. Just some various 50-50 situations and reset combos. I have a new one. It's got, I believe, about 3 resets in it, and it does about 35% damage, and there's only one way to escape it. So I've been landing it with ease online, so I'm really intrigued to see what I can do tomorrow, you know, when the pressure is on with it. I'm going to be making a video about it in detail and upload it to the Ermac boards on Test Your Might to see what other players in the community think about it. I'm really excited and nervous at the same time about the tournament tomorrow, because this is my first big major tournament, and there's going to be a lot of like pros there. Like Tom Brady's going to be there, Perfect Legend. I believe Chris G's going to be there. I'm not sure if Rio's going to be there. I don't remember. I think Justin Wong is going to be there. I don't know. I have no idea how I'd fare against these guys, but I'm really excited to get to meet a few of them. Also, like, various friends are going to be there. Like, I know Castleman from Mortal Kombat Online. He's making his way from Canada down to compete. I've been talking to him for a couple of months now, and he's a really good guy. He's helped me out a lot with Sector, and he's helped me out a lot with my video streaming, which I've just recently been able to get stuff back on YouTube. So he's been a real good friend in the community. So it's going to be really nice to get to meet him in person, and get to just mingle with, you know, people that I've known just around like the online scene and the forums, and get to meet them in person. It's going to be a really nice experience. You know, and also, while I was looking to compete in a tournament, I noticed that Ohio has a very nice tournament scene. There's going to be a tournament May 5th as well in Columbus. I think it's called Seasons Beatings. I'm not sure. I was thinking about taking that off work to compete there as well, but I'm kind of glad that I stumbled across this one, the Winter Championships, because I can pretty much get my feet wet in this and decide if I want to compete at, I believe it's Seasons Beatings, I'm not sure, and I believe it's May 5th in Columbus. Some other things I wanted to talk about as well with the current online scene. You know, lately online has had problems from day one with just various lag problems and desynchronizing. Not so much like rage quitting and whatnot, as well as far as like morality goes. You know, that's kind of the individual player's problem. But stuff like with the servers, you know, I think Mortal Kombat has kind of suffered. And you know, it's really bad, then it gets really good, and you know, like, just the reason why I took a break was a couple weeks ago, really, the online was not playable. Like, it would not even allow you to play at all. It would say you have lost connection to the network or something. And but obviously I was still connected to PlayStation Network, so it was some kind of server problem. So that's what forced me to take a break as well. But then once it got back on, like, the online's different. Like, it's almost like the clans have taken it over. And, you know, like, there's rooms with, like, FTR and Cyber and all this stuff. Like, I mean, I have nothing against any of these clans or anything. Like, you know, if you want to do that, that's cool. You know, Hood Fresh, you know, he seems like a really great guy. He does a lot for the community. And I believe he's, like, maybe the founding member of FTR, I think. I'm not sure. Or FRT or whatever it's called. You know, so I don't have a problem with it, but I just think that it's odd that once the latest online issues ceased, now no one is in, like, Chaos Realm or Nether Realm or anything like their Deadpool. It's like they're all in these created rooms. So I don't know if that problem is linked to the online problems. That's why people are doing this or what. So, you know, I think the online scene is pretty good. I think it is dying down a little bit. But that's expected with any game. You know, you'll get to the point where the hardcore players are the only ones that are still playing it. But, you know, you can pretty much get on any time and still find good matchups and have fun. That's pretty much what online is. You know, some people view online as just practice. Some people say, oh, your record doesn't matter. You know, I've had a split opinion on this. You know, I've always taken pride in my record. But, you know, the stat buffers really have ruined the rankings and whatnot. Like, you know, when PlayStation Network first crashed and then it comes back and there's people with like 3,000 wins and 200 losses. And it's like, really? You know, it's like, so the game's been, you know, online for a total of like 4 days and you got 3,000 wins. You know, so people like that ruin the ranking system as far as actually knowing where you actually stand. So that kind of sucks. And that's really what I think makes people say online stats don't matter. I think if your record is legitimate, I think there's nothing wrong with taking pride in it. You know, but at the same time, you know, anyone can lose in fighting games. So it's like, you know, maybe, you know, I play somebody and I go 1-3 against him. Does that mean that he's really better than me? Or like maybe if we play, you know, tomorrow, and then I go 3-0 against him, you know? So, you know, anything can happen. It's a situational type of game, especially with X-ray combos considered, much like Street Fighter with Ultras. So I think as long as your record is legit, there's nothing wrong with taking pride in it by any means. You know, but, you know, there's all kinds of ways, I guess, that people stat buff. You know, I assumed that really all they did was just make a fake account and then just beat up on the computer nonstop. But I've seen other guys expose stat buffers by saying that I guess they fight weaker opponents maybe or something. You know, whatever way it is dirty and it's stupid. You know, just play the game, have fun. That's the most important thing, is to have fun. You know, how no matter how serious you take it, the most important thing in anything you do in life is to enjoy what you're doing. You know, are you really having fun when you create a fake account and then you just beat up on the computer with no one playing the computer to make it look like you got a whole bunch of wins? You know, I mean, what's going to happen when you go in there and a good player sees you, that you have a supposedly good record, and then they go to play you and you don't do anything? You know, so it doesn't make sense. You know, I don't see where the fun in that is. There are still desynchronizing problems with online. You know, like, as far as the problem that it had a few weeks ago, it wasn't too bad. You know, but I really wish NetherRealm would really get on it and fix these problems. You know, like, it's been out for over a year now, well, almost a year now, and there's still sometimes desynchronizing problems. There's just stuff like, you know, and it needs to be fixed. I guess next I'll talk about the transition from going from like a casual player online and and just playing offline and online with friends, to even like small local tournaments, to taking the big step, you know, jumping into the deep end, into the major scene, into like the major tournaments with the pros, which is pretty much what I'm experiencing at the moment. I'm going to be doing in the next about 10 hours. I got to be there to register. So, I was talking to Castleman online about it about a week ago, and he was saying that, he basically said, don't worry about looking good and whatnot, and just go and have fun and mingle with the community. Castleman's competed in a few tournaments, I know. So we're kind of in the same boat, where he kind of went from local stuff in Canada, and I believe this is his second major, where this is my first major. So, it's kind of a similar scenario. So that's pretty much was my mindset going in anyway, was to just go and have fun, because really there's various matchups where even, I've really studied the game, and there's still matchups where I just have problems with, like mostly Nightwolf and Reptile. Usually I can zone Reptile, but Reptile's just tough. I can't really put my finger on what it is. I think it would really be the lizard dash whiff in this game, and obviously it's not like classic UMK3 where it's like just a tool to use for an infinite combo. In this, it's an actual legitimate mechanic, and to me it just seems like when it's on block, or if they whiff it, it just seems like you can't punish it. And I think that's what really throws me off with Reptile. So what I've tried to do the most with I know with Ermac I can take Reptile out of his lizard dash with his disabler kick, which is forward 4, and it's like a double roundhouse kick. But it requires so much precise timing that it's just not it's not conceivable to think that you can do that in any situation, and they can just sit there and spam it literally. So my answer for Reptile for the last couple of months has just been to zone him with Noob Sabat, but it's still not a foolproof plan. So other characters I have problems with would be like probably Nightwolf. Nightwolf is a pain in the ass. Nightwolf is, basically Nightwolf, my answer for Nightwolf is to also zone him, and my zoning character is Noob Sabat. And obviously, in my opinion, Noob has the best zoning and the best projectiles in the game. And that's my opinion. And it just so happens that Nightwolf cannot reflect, at least with the same properties, Noob's shadows that he can with any other projectile. He can reflect them, but they don't come back at Noob Sabat, so you can continue shooting them at him to just disrupt him and catch him. So, but it's still not a foolproof plan. You can take Nightwolf out with various pokes like down 1, down 4, and Noob has a great down 1, but it's still really hard. It's not a foolproof plan. I can't sit there and read and pick apart Nightwolf and Reptile like I can any other character. And the game's been out for over a year. I've been studying the game for over a year, and I still do not have a foolproof plan for these characters. So I really hope I don't run into a Nightwolf or a Reptile tomorrow, because it's double elimination, which means if I lose twice, then I'm out. So again, I'm going for the experience, but at the same time I do want to try to do well. And there are several situations in this game where I like to counterpick to beat my opponent. So I can't just pick Ermac for, like, I don't like the Ermac matchup, and I don't like the Ermac versus any heavy zoner, except Noob. I actually do know how to pick apart Noob with Ermac, but my answer for Ermac is Noob Sabat. Sindel gives Ermac, any heavy zoner really gives him problems, but for some reason I can pick apart Noob Sabat with Ermac. So I'm just hoping that I can represent my character at the tournament. I'm mainly going to be using Johnny Cage and Ermac tomorrow. Johnny Cage is probably my best rushdown character, along with Kano. I'm thinking about Kano as well, though, because Kano is not as well known, in my opinion. Like, you don't really see Kano at tournaments. However, I don't want to take the risk to think, well, no one picks him at tournaments. Maybe this tournament player doesn't know Kano. Because there's chances are, I mean, I know the roster pretty well. So probably, you know, a pro tournament player or just any other tournament player knows the roster as well, just like I do. So, you know, I'm thinking about mostly using Ermac and Johnny Cage tomorrow, and going to be using Noob Sabat for various zoning situations, like a Liu Kang. I'll be using Noob Sabat. Sub-Zero, I'll be using Noob Sabat. So anyone I want to zone, I'll be using Noob Sabat. Basically characters that I use. Basically, Ermac is my main. Kano is my number 2. To my secondaries would be in this order after Ermac. Kano is my number 2. Noob Sabat's my number 3. Johnny Cage is my number 4. And then really after that, it's kind of a toss-up between Jade and Smoke. Maybe even a little Scarlet. I do like Scarlet to a degree. I really like what I do with Jade. My Jade videos are from back in like July when I just picked her up. My Jade is completely different than that now. Now that Jade was a lot of countering and whatnot. My Jade now, I have a really foolproof rushdown system with her for pressure, and it's very good. And I think Jade is a really good character. Mortal Kombat's a very balanced game, which explains, at least in my opinion, a lot of the matchup problems that you have to find those one little tiny weaknesses in characters to exploit. Like I said, Ermac, it's a balanced game, so really certain matchups are hard to win, but to really have an advantage, you got to find those little tiny weaknesses that's kind of hard to find in various characters to exploit. So pretty much I'm really happy with my Johnny Cage, what I've done with him. I didn't even start using Johnny Cage until last November. I was pretty much inspired by watching Tom Brady use Johnny Cage, and then I read upon his guides, and just discovered the amazing rushdown that he has. It's completely safe, and he has a few nut punch resets still, and he's very fast. He's just a great character, so I'm really happy to have a character that I really haven't been working on from day one, and have to be such a valuable asset to me. So I'm going to be rolling with Ermac and Johnny Cage tomorrow, and like I said, Noob Sabat for any zoning characters. That's pretty much it. It's been about 18 minutes, so yeah, that's it. Probably gonna upload this tomorrow or something, which will be after the tournament. Well, after the first day of the tournament. So yep, so I'm gonna be going to bed here in a minute. I gotta get up at 8, so I gotta get up in about 8 hours. So obviously I'm not really sleeping because I'm excited and nervous at the same time. So wish me luck, and I'm just gonna go and try to have some fun. So thanks for watching, and I'll maybe do a part 2 to this. I'm probably gonna call this Funnylegz Mortal Kombat Chronicles. So maybe we'll do a part 2 with anything else I want to rant about in the community. So until then, guys.